Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for Monday, August 5th. We're back. We're breaking it down. We got an 8-game slate today, and just as a reminder, we are starting early today. It is a 3:40 West Pacific time start and 6:40 East Coast time. So make sure you get those lineups in. Have them dialed in, 25 minutes or so earlier than normal, and we'll make some money today. All right, now, as always, come join us at LineStar, $39.99 per month. Or you could spring for the year, $240 gets you everything. All the props, all the DFS, all the best ball. You get it all for the entire year. Cheapest deal that we have and best deal in the industry by far. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Helps us a ton. Just get a bigger reach and give more and more content out for free. Now, let's get to the perfect lineups for yesterday. As always, we will go over those, then the winning lineups, and then get into today's slate. So, you needed Spencer Arrighetti. He was a chalk pitcher. He went for 55. He had a game. Then we had a 3-man Boston stack, 2-man Minnesota, and some one-offs. The winning lineup went to Talk 4, who won $20K. The most surprising thing to me is it wasn't Spencer Arrighetti, who was a super chalky pitcher that you needed. However, they absolutely crushed the hitters. 2-man Yankee stack, 3-man Twins, had a 2-man Cleveland, and a one-off with Boston. Hitters just absolutely raked, and they took it down. Congrats to them. On to DraftKings. We had Edward Cabrera, Spencer Arrighetti, 3-man Boston, 2-man White Sox, and then Royce Lewis and Gary Sanchez as one-offs. And I'd love to win one. Won by 6 points. Had the perfect pitcher combo. Had a 5-man Minnesota stack. Had a 2-man Yankee stack, and then a one-off with Gary Sanchez. Congrats to I'd love to win. You won it, and you had the full 5-2-1 lineup construction that we see win so often. Now, let's get into pitchers. We got Aaron Nola as the highest-owned pitcher at 26%. I do think that, it's a little high. Nola's price, however, is a little lower than normal. We only have a 3-star alert score, though. It is against the Dodgers, so a very tough matchup. However, this Dodgers lineup is not quite as good as it has been all season. They are hurt a little bit and kind of piecing it together. Meanwhile, Phillies have lost 8 of their last 10. Dodgers have won 6 of 10. I think this series is going to be very interesting, but right now, for today, I got to give the nod to the Dodgers, and I would much rather go Glasnow over Nola. Now, we can likely expect a low-scoring game here. Glasnow is my favorite target today. I think he is just a very good pitcher, best on the slate for sure, and the Phillies are just struggling a little bit. Can they turn that around today? Yeah, possibly, but it is Glasnow who is very good, has super high upside, and a struggling Phillies. So I'm going to just stay with Glasnow there. Next, we got JP Sears, 7,700 versus the White Sox. White Sox are awful. You're talking about a historically bad team right here. They've lost 20 straight. Their splits over the last 20 games are just awful versus lefties, and they're striking out a lot. JP Sears been pitching well recently. I am fully on board of the JP Sears train today. Next, we got Zach Gallen, 8,600. It's a tough matchup versus the Guardians. You don't really like to face the Guardians ever because they just don't strike out much. They piece together some runs and make it very hard for pitchers. But Gallen's price is a little lower, and he is an elite pitcher. He can get it done versus anybody, so I'm still a little interested even in a tough matchup. Next, David Festa, 6,100. 2x value. On FanDuel, he's a total no for me. On DraftKings, I'm intrigued. Wind's blowing in at Wrigley, which absolutely helps him. He's been decent. The only worry is that, he's not likely to work past 5 innings. Has a little strikeout upside, but the Cubs are a decent offense. However, with the wind blowing in, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to really get it going at Wrigley, so I'm a little intrigued. Roderick Munez, 6,600. Don't love it, but we've seen him have some upside, so I'm at least not totally canceling him out. My favorite pivots would be Hunter Brown and Logan Webb. Brown, he's been pitching very well. I think his price is a little high now, but he's been slinging it lately. Now, we've talked about Brown in the past a little bit because he last year showed to be a little streaky. Had a great streak to start and then kind of mellowed off and was just, Did that again this year. Started bad, but then has been going nuts. Which guy are we going to get today? I don't totally know, but the Rangers, while it seems scary, haven't been that scary lately. Versus righties, 220 average, 200 ISO, so hitting the ball very hard, but 307 WOBA. So if there's home runs, as long as they go solo, I think Hunter Brown is an interesting play. Logan Webb, 8,400 versus the Nationals. Look, it's a decent spot. Nationals aren't a great offense. Webb is averaging 30% less away, but he's had some tough spots away. So I'm not, giving it just that it is away. I think part of it is that he's just had hard matchups. So I'm slightly throwing that out, but I think this is an interesting spot. And on a day that doesn't have a ton of places to go, mid-range Webb, who is an elite pitcher, sounds pretty intriguing at low ownership to me. So definitely considering that. SP2, I don't mind going Andrew Heaney. Sorry, guys. I got a little throat thing going on today where a little scratchy. So if I have to take a little break, I'm sorry. That is why. But I'm going to get through it. Heaney, I don't absolutely love the spot, but he's so cheap and he has shown a ceiling that I'm at least intrigued. Can he get us 20 in this matchup? Absolutely. Is that going to be enough at 6,400 to get it done? Maybe. So a little intrigued as an SP2 if you want to pay up for a glass now. I think you can do that. It also gets you a low-owned option with a high-owned, bringing down, your ownership there. Getting over to FanDuel pitcher, we got Tyler Glasnow going highest owned, as I think he should be, with Aaron Nola next, and JP Sears moderately owned, 5-star alert score. Those are, probably the three best options. However, I do think Nola is going a little high owned. Still, I just don't love him as a fantasy pitcher. And then absolutely interested in Brown, Webb, and Gallen. I think they are the clear pivots on this slate. And I don't mind going to any of them. Next, let's get over to some stacks. All right, our highest projected stacks today, we got Minnesota. Offense has been going well. Kyle Hendricks isn't that good. We also have Arizona versus Logan Webb. Arizona's been hitting the ball very well. Then we have Boston, who just crushes righties. And Brady Singer. Now, Brady Singer is way better at home, so something's got to give there. I don't mind going to Boston, though. Minnesota's obviously interesting. Shocking that Philadelphia is popping up here versus Tyler Glasnow, but at least Tyler Glasnow hasn't been quite as good lately as he has been in the first part of his season. And let's check the high-owned stacks here. San Francisco all over it. So a couple things here. One, gas can Corbin. Do we get a Cy Corbin day? He at least has a 303 FIP over his last 5. So he's been pitching very well lately. That's over a 6.84 ERA. So he's been pitching much better than the numbers or the outcomes actually have been. Does give me a little cause of concern to want to have the Giants. The other thing is the Giants just platoon so many guys and substitute so many hitters that it's always hard to have a 5-man stack of the Giants. I would prefer smaller stacks of them personally. You got to do you, though. They are in a fine spot, and Corbin just isn't very good anymore. Now let's go to the value stacks. And we have the White Sox versus J.P. Sears. Hey, J.P. Sears has not been that good of a pitcher in his MLB career. Makes some sense when he's a little higher owned to want some leverage with the White Sox. Now, the offense is terrible, so good luck to you, but it is at least interesting. Dodgers are popping up. They got a ton of cheap bats right now, but their cheap bats really aren't very good. So, you know, the fact that it is the Dodgers makes it seem way better. But, I mean, you look at Lux, Hayward, Kike Hernandez, Biggio, and Ahmed. Is that really much different than the White Sox? Baldwin, Vaughn, Benintendi, Sosa, Lopez? I mean, it's not like those Dodgers hitters are that much better than the White Sox ones. They are at least low owned. I think if you do have a Dodger stack, you have to throw Hernandez, Will Smith, or Ohtani in there. I just highly doubt those 5 hitters are going to be the ones you need for the Dodgers. Now let's go to the high ceiling. Oh, Oakland's popping up there too versus Jonathan Cannon. I think you got to consider Oakland on this slate. High ceiling, Arizona, Boston, Oakland. Jonathan Cannon has had some very good starts, but behind him is a very, very bad bullpen. If his start gets cut short for any reason, Oakland starts to look really, really interesting. Definitely don't mind going there a little bit. And let's click the teams tag here to get a little more info. Royals, highest implied run total at 5.3. We haven't even talked about him. James Paxton hasn't been good. 5.5 FIP over his last 5 starts. 5.3 over the last 20. I mean, he got cut from a Dodgers team that is dealing with a ton of pitching injuries. So that goes to show you a lot there. Giving up a lot of hard contact. Royals have also been way better at home, so little interest there. Patrick Corbin versus the Giants at 4.9 implied total. Boston, 4.7. Oakland, 4.7. Arizona, 4.6. Reds, 4.6. All of these are very interesting. You can Houston, Texas, the Rangers, Minnesota, 4.3. So you have to go all the way down to Minnesota to have a full run implied total difference. So there's a ton of stacks in play on an 8-game slate today. I think you can really kind of get different and go with it. And if you want to, you could absolutely go with the Dodgers leverage stack over Nola. We know Nola occasionally gets hit, so I don't mind going that way either. I just would make sure that I have some, say, Ohtani, Hernandez, Will Smith in this stacks because I think it's very unlikely that Nola gets lit up, and it's not one of those guys that kind of really spark the offensive outing. Anyways, guys, that will do it for us today. Had to cut it a little short today or rush through it a little bit. And hope you guys have good luck today. Let's make some money, and I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.